Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. Um, Last night we had softball. We have softball again tonight as well. But this week has been softball 4 nights so far, and we have whatever. It's a lot. I don't. So I haven't been reading. Like I have, but very little. It just there's not enough time in the day to do everything. But that's not the point. The point is, Jonathan had mentioned interesting foods and/or cooking recipes, that sort of stuff to talk about, and that definitely, I think I would like to do some cooking video type things on some very simple ideas that I make pretty regularly. Um, but last night, so the game we went to is in a little town called Elkins, West Virginia. It's like a it's this it's a I love Elkins, let's put it that way. It's a tiny town, like 6,000 people, that is in the middle of nowhere. Like it's an hour from the interstate. You to get to anywhere else, it's at least a half an hour. Like it's a long way away from anything. There's no reason to go there unless you go there. I don't know how to say that. That's not true. There are state parks close-ish by, like an hour away, but it's really like just in the middle of nowhere. There's this little town that's held on all this time. They have a college there called Davis and Elkins College. It's a really beautiful campus. And my dad's aunt, my great aunt, had a house there. Did we say this yesterday? I think so. So Elkins has always had this little special place in my heart. I used to go there every weekend to go fishing. I would drive down there just to go trout fishing. There's a lot of really good trout streams down there. Um, and I think I would like to do a little bit of that again this year. Just to the hiking was the part that I enjoyed the most. But so anyway, there's a Venezuelan restaurant there. Um, a friend I used to work with, him and his family came over from Venezuela. Like he was Venezuelan, and they ended up in Elkins somehow. There's a story behind that. They opened this Venezuelan restaurant, and so he told me about it years and years and years ago. And I went there and was like, I really like this. So every time I go to Elkins, I make it a point to go to this restaurant. And yesterday, um, the game was at 6. They open at 4:30, so I got there kind of right at 4:30, like ready to go. Let's get the food so I can eat and leave. And it got busy real quick. The place gets busy real quick for dinner time. But if you've never had Venezuelan food, I ordered off menu. Well, I just ordered sides because they're it's like a typical restaurant. You go get an entree and then you get rice and beans and soup and salad. And I don't want any of that stuff. Like I want an arepa, a cachapa, and some beans. And I'll tell you about those things here in a second. But there's a picture so you can get to see that. It's fantastic, and I loved the food. I've the first time I had it, I loved it. The second time I had it, I loved it. Now the 30th time I've had it, I love it. It's very very good food. But the interesting thing is, so I was trying to explain it to a few people, and they're like, "Well, what is this? What is a cachapa?" And I said, "Well, it's like a quesadilla, but you have like a corn pancake instead of a tortilla." And so so mixing that with Jonathan's food idea, um, there's kind of the joke that Taco Bell only has 5 ingredients, and it's just how you mix them up, and they put a new name on it. And I think it's fair. It's also kind of okay. Like that's not a. I don't think that's a diss. I think that what I learned when I was in Poland was the food there was not some. We've become so global that there's not really, unless you have like a super regional ingredient, you know, like avocados were for a long time, but now they're everywhere. Unless you had a super regional ingredient, foods are just foods, right? And if I told you, like I just did, make a sweet corn pancake and put filling in it, you could probably imagine what that tastes like. It's not like in Venezuela they put some special blends of seasoning or some special sauce. It's just corn pancake with cheese and meat, and you could guess that, and you'd be right. It would taste exactly how you're imagining it. It's not some super regional thing. When we've talked about here we have pepperoni rolls and wherever you are you don't, it's not special. Take bread and put pepperoni in it. You've got a pepperoni roll. I mean, the bread gets soaked with the pepperoni fat, and so it's not quite the same. But Italian bread, get a loaf of Italian bread, put some pepperoni in it, bake it. You have a pepperoni roll. Take some corn, grind it up, mix it with some eggs, mix it with some flour, fry it on both sides, put some stuff in it. You have a cachapa. An arepa is a white cornmeal pocket, kind of like a pita, that's stuffed with stuff. You could probably guess what that tastes like too. It's a very thick pocket. It's like I guess it'd be similar to a Taco Bell chalupa, maybe even thicker than a chalupa, at least the ones that I've had. But there's something special about it for me, going there, having that particular cachapa, there are varieties, I think, that make everything a little bit more interesting. So when I tell you, when I was in Poland, I got to have my gołąbki, which is my favorite thing to eat in Polish cuisine. And if you ask me what it is, I would say it's rice and meat rolled up in cabbage. And you could probably taste exactly what that, you could guess what that, and you'd be right. That's exactly, it's not special. It's just a cabbage roll. But I don't know, there's something, it's not something I'm going to make at home, but it could be, right? I think that's the stuff that really, I love Mexican food. I absolutely love Mexican food. And the stuff that we get at Taco Bell or whatever, that's not Mexican food. That's Texican food. Like, that's Tex-Mex. That's a very different variety of food from what, people eat in the Yucatan Peninsula. People eat in Western Mexico. Like, there's those regions all have their own foods. But I think that at the core, if I think about what I cook every night, what my mom cooked every night, what my wife's mom cooks when we're there, what I ate in Poland, what I ate in Germany, what I've eaten in Mexico, what I've just eaten in this Venezuelan restaurant, it's just basic foods. It's not some mind-blowing thing. It's just food, right? And I think that that's the food that I want. I don't care if it's got, pure duck fat, truffle, whatever. Like, I don't need anything exotic. Can I just have some meat and some sort of, casing maybe, or not? Some vegetables, maybe some pasta, it's just food. And it's just good. It doesn't need to be doused in something. That being said, give me an option of going to India, and I will go to India every time, and I will eat food that has 37 spices on it, because that's fantastic, But there's also something to be said about just the basic foods. This is what your mom made, and it's fantastic. And my friend, when he would tell me about it, going and getting the arepa, which is, again, it's just like a pita pocket that's got some meat and cheese in it. He talked about it like it was this such an amazing thing. It is. But it's also, that would be the way I talk about going to a football game and getting a pepperoni roll. But if I took you to a football game and gave you a pepperoni roll, you'd be like, okay, this is bread and cheese. This is bread and pepperoni. And I'd be like, I know. But for me, there's some sort of magic to that. And for my friend, there was some sort of magic to this arepa that he transferred to me. And now when I go there and I get this cornmeal stuffed pocket, it's just like, oh, this is so good, and I wish I could have this all the time. I probably could. I could probably make it right here in my kitchen. So I think that part of the transformation, I think we'll try to do some more food stuff. I know that I promised Chris years ago that I would do a pepperoni roll video. I'll do that. I'll show you how to make them if you want to make them at home. I'll show you how to make them the easiest way possible. It's stupid easy. And they're good, in my opinion. Do you have regional cuisines that you find are really attractive to you? I'd love to hear about it. Put it in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you show sounds smart is unimpeachable. It has an adjective meaning above reproach, impossible to discredit or slander. We promote Carla to upstairs maid because her job performance has been unimpeachable. Unimpeachable. UNIMPEACHABLE.